We're back again with another stimulus check update for you for today, August 12th, 2020. And make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end of the video. That way you don't miss out on a special bonus that I have in store for you at the end of the video. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. That way we can get some love from the YouTube algorithm, and YouTube can promote this video and this channel too. We can get the video in front of more people. Make sure you subscribe using the big red button below if you haven't already. And leave me a comment after the video. Let me know what you think about this video also as well. And today we're going to be talking about next round of stimulus checks for individuals. Okay. And the state of what's going on right now with that. And a statement from Donald Trump, right? Trump's statement, a little good news. Some bad news, and that's what we're going to have for our stimulus check update for today. And starting off, we're going to be speaking out a little bit about also Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate, his idea of what it's going to be like for the Senate in November. Okay. And we also have a report here for you from the Cook Political Report. We found a headline too also as well, which is kind of like chiming in on the outlook of the Senate, the state of the Senate in November. And we also have for you good news as far as communication has started once again between two of the negotiators and that have been negotiating the next stimulus package. As you all know, there were four negotiators: House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, House Senate Minority Leader for the Democrats, and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. And we also have for you here massive pressure being put on Mitch McConnell. So let's start off with, we're going to talk about what Mitch McConnell said about his view of the Republicans holding the Senate, the majority in the Senate, that is, in November. So basically, Mitch McConnell says keeping Senate and Republican control could be tough, according to a report today from the New York Post. Mitch McConnell further went on to say that, so we have a lot of incumbents, a lot of exposure around the country. Every one of these races, about 8 of them, are like a knife fight in the alley. They are tough challenges. Now, Republicans right now, they are up for re-election in November. That is, 23 Republicans are up for re-election in November. Okay. So also we have the Cook Political Report reported by CNN Politics today, which basically, I'm going to read off a quote from it, created by Cook Senate editor Jessica Taylor, which says, ultimately, every day that Trump stubbornly refuses to change course on the C-word pandemic is another day that it becomes increasingly likely he may not only tank his own re-election bid, but could be on a kamikaze mission to take the Republican-held Senate down with him. At this point, a net gain of 5 to 7 seats for Democrats looks far more probable than the 1 to 3 seat gain that would leave them shy of a majority. Okay, so that's been reported from the Cook Political Report. Also, what we have in today's news as well is a statement coming from Donald Trump today. See, Donald Trump, he basically had a conference, and inside the conference, he appeared to cast doubt on the whole process of negotiating the next stimulus package, right? When just a few days earlier, he had suggested that he was open to a new round of talks. Okay, Trump used a news conference to criticize Democrats' proposals for funding election preparations and the Postal Service as a part of a broader spending measure. Those were among multiple issues that divided the parties during 2 weeks of negotiations that initially collapsed on Friday before a failed attempt. So basically, this is the statement that Trump said today about these negotiations, right? The bill is not going to happen because they don't even want to talk about it, because we can't give them the kind of ridiculous things that they want that have nothing to do with the C word virus, right? He didn't say the C word virus, but he said another word that I don't want to mention here because this term can be criticized as racially insensitive. Okay. Now, Trump said that at the White House during an evening news briefing. Now, his comments came after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, they spoke for the first time since the talks had fell apart last week. So that's, at least that's some good news that Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, they at least had a conversation, right? Even though the conversation, it did not break the impasse, it was kind of like another round of pointing fingers to each other. So let me fill you in on what happened with that. So Mnuchin had reached out to Nancy Pelosi by phone today. Okay, this is the first time they spoke since Mnuchin and Mark Meadows walked out of the meeting on Friday, and they haven't had any other negotiating meeting talking about the next stimulus package since then. Okay, and actually, Steve Mnuchin was saying that a goal for a deal was set for last week, Friday. Now, a source that's familiar with the phone call that Mnuchin had with Nancy Pelosi today said that in a joint statement, Pelosi and Schumer signaled that they would not yet restart discussions after the Treasury Secretary again rejected their offer to find a middle ground between the Democrats' more than $3 trillion relief package and the GOP's roughly $1 trillion proposal. So basically, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they want the Republicans and the White House to meet them in the middle. Okay, their first proposal was a $3 trillion proposal, the HEROES Act. Then the Republicans came back and passed the HEALS Act. Well, they didn't pass the HEALS Act, but the HEALS Act was another proposal from the Senate for $1 trillion. So since the Democrats want $3 trillion, the Republicans want $1 trillion, they're just saying, well, meet us in the middle, which would be $2 trillion, right? We have again made clear to the administration we're willing to resume negotiations once they start to take this process seriously, they added. Now, Mnuchin later said Pelosi's comments were not an accurate reflection of our conversation. In his own statement, he said she made clear that she was unwilling to meet to continue negotiations unless we agreed in advance to her proposal costing at least $2 trillion. So there we have it, people. That shows that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, this is proof by Steve Mnuchin's own words that Nancy and Chuck were telling the truth. They wanted the Republicans in the White House to meet them in the middle at $2 trillion. So right now, the White House and the Republicans do not want to meet the Democrats in the middle and negotiate at a $2 trillion price tag on the next stimulus package. Okay. Now, Mnuchin said the Democrats have no interest in negotiating. So I don't understand what Mnuchin is talking about really here, because in the negotiation, basically, if one party says they want $3 trillion, the other party says we want $1 trillion, wouldn't a negotiation or a compromise would meet somewhere in the middle, right? At 2 trillion, right? So what is Steve Mnuchin talking about? I don't understand his sense of logic at all. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Okay. I mean, if they really want a bill to pass, they would meet the Democrats in the middle, pretty much. All right. But at least that's some good news, folks. There is conversation between Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi. For the first time since the end of the negotiations on Friday. I don't want to say that's the end of the negotiations, but that was the last time they had negotiations. Now, as far as what Trump said, I mean, Trump just be using some type of negotiating ploy from his art of the deal to make the Democrats think that he's walking out, right, on the deal, to try to force the Democrats to come back to the table and, negotiate down again to Donald Trump's proposal and Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows' proposal. Could that be? Because Trump is running out of options here. Trump needs a stimulus package to pass, all right? Even though he wrote his executive order Saturday, including the memorandums that he signed also as well, that's really not going to boost the economy. And many experts agree that will not improve or boost the economy at all. Okay, it will give little to no help to people who are unemployed. Many hundreds of thousands of people will not be able to get this $300 in guaranteed unemployment payments from the federal government, which many states have said they would not be able to provide the $100 extra to make it a $400 unemployment boost. Okay, despite what Donald Trump is saying about he will waive the $100 requirement to the states, that's not even in his executive order or his Miranda. Okay, and he still has not put his pen where his mouth is as far as written it all down on paper. All Trump is doing right now is talking. Okay, and as far as forgiving these payroll taxes, Trump cannot do that without the help of Congress. And there's no guarantee that Congress, even with a Republican, let's say, for example, if there is a Republican Senate still in November, and say there's a Republican House as well in November, they're still not going to agree with Trump to forgive these taxes because of Social Security. So, Trump right now is just running his mouth and trying to get favor with the American people, trying to boost his polls up, but his numbers in the polls are not moving at all right now. Okay, Biden still maintains a 10-point lead in the polls, in national polls, including in swing states. So the only way Trump can get a boost in the polls right now, a significant boost, is for Congress to pass a stimulus package. Okay, and Trump pretty much has no choice right now. Okay, so in other news, we have pressure, like I said in the beginning, on Mitch McConnell coming from thousands of people here. We have a report from Newsweek that says, Mitch better have my money. Kentuckians gather outside Mitch McConnell's office to protest alleged blocking of stimulus. So Kentucky residents, they gathered outside of Mitch McConnell's office to protest him blocking the second C word virus stimulus aid package, according to the White House Post, according to the Washington Post, not White House. Some protesters held up signs that read, "Mitch better have my money." The Post also reported that in over a dozen interviews with Kentuckians, including unemployed residents, struggling business owners, and House and labor rights groups, all have expressed needing more aid from Congress, which McConnell has failed to provide. Now, the protests, they come as Mitch McConnell has blocked an extension of the CARES Act, which is the HEROES Act, right? Which he blocked pretty much. He said is dead on arrival in the Senate, which that would have provided unemployment benefits of up to $600 a week during the novel C word sickness pandemic. So Donald Trump's under a lot of pressure to get a stimulus package done. Mitch McConnell's under a lot of pressure to get a stimulus package done. And that's why, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, that Mitch McConnell right now is pushing for a deal to be done on a stimulus package. He pretty much said yesterday, and I'm paraphrasing, that, all the negotiators, Democrats, White House, they need to get themselves back in the room, come back to the table, and talk, and let's get a deal done. That's pretty much what Mitch McConnell had said yesterday, and that was good news too also as well. So, folks, I would say keep the faith. Okay, I would say keep the faith. Do we know when the next stimulus check is coming? No, we don't. We don't know when, all right? Do we know if it is coming? I believe yes. The next stimulus check is coming. There's way too much pressure on Donald Trump right now. There's way too much pressure on Mitch McConnell right now. There's way too much pressure on 23 Republicans who are up for re-election right now, okay? And much pressure has been put on Americans with this executive order / Miranda that Donald Trump had written on Saturday as far as the payroll tax deferral is concerned. A lot of Americans don't want that. They don't want to have a big $1,500 bill in the next 4 months to have to pay out to the IRS. They want the taxes taken out little by little, okay? And we know Trump cannot forgive these taxes without Congress. So for him to promise something that he knows he cannot do unilaterally or on his own is pretty much a false promise, okay? Which he should not have said at all. What he should have said is something to the effect of that, I will try to get these payroll taxes forgiven with the help of Congress, okay? But don't promise to people that you can do something that you cannot do. Okay, so that's all I got for you today. And hope you liked the video. Hope you give the video a thumbs up so that way YouTube can promote it and we can gain favor with the mighty YouTube algorithm. And subscribe using the big red button down below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the down arrow here, open up the description so you can see links for free money and other helpful resources. Join our Facebook group so you can get more stimulus check updates. It's free to join. And from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC family, stay safe, be blessed. We'll see you in tomorrow's stimulus check update video. Bye for now. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them.